Isn't motivation something you want? Discipline is something you need. Obsession is something you have to have. I'm going to show you what I wanted, how I got it, and how I was obsessed to get there. Forget the Noise podcast, another episode this week. I toned down my notes a little bit this week because last week we got long-winded with Kasha, but I was going to do a solo episode and last minute our schedules aligned. Today we have Eric Ratsky from EJR Electric. It's going to be a cool episode. Like, between the two of us, we've grown so much together. We've kind of scaled through businesses. We've got to know each other on a personal level, personal development. Like, we're always on the phone. We're always kind of shooting the shit with each other, talking about our problems, stuff like that. I love that he jumped on the opportunity. A lot of people were scared to kind of come on the podcast, so I reached out to them, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. So he is a perfect guest to have today when we dive into business as our first topic. We've done a little bit about me. We've done a little bit with Kasha. We have some solo episodes coming up. So like having a business one in here is going to be perfect for the whole series of Forget the Noise. So like I said, he owns EJR Electric. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a personal friend. We live down the street from each other. Actually, we've gone out for like walks to shoot the shit. We've met up. Like, it's really cool to have someone in your community that's growing with you at the same scale, at the same pace, and having someone to relate to. You guys will hear a lot of me talking about being in rooms that people you can relate with. Like, that's Eric right here. Like, literally, that's my buddy right there. We were also in a mastermind together. So the whole networking thing, I believe the mastermind has kind of changed us, our mindset and stuff, and being in the same mastermind and being able to collaborate and talk about the topics that week or the calls we have. That's really cool because like a lot of our members in the mastermind are down in the States. We have no one local and they're always meeting up locally. We're the only two guys up in Canada. So that's the cool part about that mastermind. But aside from the mastermind, like you get so much out of it, but we're going to like dive right into business. And with the business, we see wins, we see losses, we see guys come and go. Eric has gone through all that over the course of a couple of years now, and now he recently just opened an office. So everybody, I find, has business ideas, and like I feel that muscle works a lot harder when you actually have a business. Then once you have the business, like the ideas are always rolling in. So I heard a quote the other day, and it was like, ideas are easy, implementation is hard. So we're gonna get Eric's all spat on that verse. Your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, you always have things rolling in your head. It's learning to pull the trigger and figuring out how to do that. There's no right way, I don't think, at the end of the day. You just kind of got to do it. Like business itself, you just got to dive in and go for it, right? You have a dream, you got to follow that.
And you yourself with your business,
yeah.
What's been the hardest thing for you to implement?
Told
you I was gonna blindside you.
Yeah.
Catch you off guard. He got no notes before the meeting. Like, it was so last minute. It was just kind of like I threw it together in like an hour. So like,
well, I think the hardest thing for me to implement is becoming a business owner. Right? I'm a tradesman. I'm comfortable on the tools, comfortable in the field. Making that transition to, being on the computer, doing quotes, providing customers with that customer care, understanding numbers, understanding, how business works. That's a beast all in itself.
Have you got to backpedal back to day one?
Yeah.
I love this question because when I'm like chopping up with another business owner, like this one always kind of hits home, and everyone always has that like aha moment where they're like, yes, I wish I knew that first. Like, if you got to start back at day one, what would you have implemented first? Looking back, and now you have guys on the road. You have 20. You have like 20 trucks. Every time I drive by you guys' house, he has a new truck outside.
That's the power of advertising, I guess, right?
You know what I mean? Like, you have your wife helping you in the office. You have an office. You have custom homes, commercial work. You do fire, and all that's kind of rolled in. And now you're rolling in like administration in the back end. But if you got to go back to day one, like, what would be your first step?
My first step, I would probably have to go to not doing it myself. Hiring somebody, I think, off the get-go to, take a little bit of that weight off your shoulders and allow you that time to kind of, okay, this is it. This is real. Yeah. It's happening. Yeah. Right? Like, you get that first paycheck, you're like, holy shit, we made some money, but now what do you do? Right? So again, finding that balance between owning a business, being on the tools, it's really hard to figure that out when you're by yourself. You need to have guys out in the field doing that work so you can, step back and look at the grander view of things, I think.
So what you're saying is the whole scheme of it is like you would implement support on the front end and back end, not just front forward thinking. You'd have support behind you too in case you fall back.
Yeah.
You already know you can push forward is what I'm getting. So like being able to fall back and have something to lean on would be the first point of implementation.
Yeah, I think lack of a better word. Yeah.
And I love that because like, my business, and the first thing I did was implement support staff.
Right.
I implemented the business end of it instead of the front end of it to make money. And it did suck at the beginning, but now that we're steamrolling, it's like the systems are there. So anything that's thrown at us kind of can help us and get us through it because we have a way to handle it before we get out in the field and kind of like pulling our hair out saying, hey, how do we do this? Right.
Yeah.
And then what do you find the most beneficial part of business that you've implemented so far?
Ooh. So far, I would have to say
Money making,
right? Just honing in on some of those processes that require you to keep things rolling, right? You got, obviously you go in, you make money. Well, how do you do things with that, right? Like you gotta have that process of, okay, we got the customer now. How do we go through keeping them happy, keeping the contractors happy, making sure that we got materials on the job, making sure that we got our guys organized, that kind of stuff. I think implementing those systems has helped us to move that project along. Obviously, there's going to be faults, as much as I do that, things stagger. You got to adapt and overcome. But I think, taking that time and going through those processes with the customer, with the contractor, you kind of make sure that everybody's on track. Now, you and I both know, like we just said, it doesn't always work, right? So you have to adjust and make do sometimes. But yeah, I think that's the number one thing that I've enjoyed implementing is being on top of that.
Yeah. Now, with the implementation, I find a lot of business owners kind of fall off the bandwagon. So like, there's a whole juggle we have to do,
right?
Because we figure it out as we go. Like that's what we do. We literally. What's the saying? Like you jump out of a plane, build a parachute on the way down.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you feel about work-life balance with that? Like, because there's a lot of front-end work when you start a business.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about work-life balance, and what do you believe is actual work-life balance, or is there actually work-life balance? And I feel like everyone's got a different perspective on this. So I like getting people either in the grind, getting out of the grind, not in the grind yet, and everyone has a different idea. Like I was talking to a friend, and he's like, "Oh, I mean, I work perfect work-life balance. I run my business. I know how much I have to make an hour, and he's gonna bring home a paycheck." And I'm like, "Well, then you're just an employee of your own business, right?" He's gonna say, "I don't think there's work-life balance. I think that's bullshit." But
yeah, I think it becomes a point where you own a job and not a business, so you got to work on that too, right? Yeah. That's one of the hardest things. I don't think there is a true work-life balance at all. It's all how you kind of look at it and implement things. Like for me, I want to be home with my family at the end of every day for dinner. That's important to us. I want to be able to go to sports, enjoy those things with my kids. I got 4 of them, right? So we're all over the place, right? With things during the summer and stuff like that. Taking time to be with my wife, go fishing, doing our thing like that. We really like to have those moments.
You did that yesterday.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I think the work doesn't stop, and that's the hardest thing, is learning to shut that off. Like for me, my phone goes off. I'm like, okay, I got to answer this email immediately because it's going to change the world. It'll be there tomorrow. Just learn to shut it off. I still find it hard to do that every single day, but you got to remind yourself, or have your spouse remind you, hey, we're here too. You gotta be there for us, right? So I think for me, that's been the nice thing, is being able to, okay, work is here. We'll deal with that stuff tomorrow. Let's focus on our family right now.
Now, I had someone ask me a question, and it completely fucked me up. So they were asking about work-life balance. I'm like, there's no such thing as work-life balance.
Yeah.
There's work or there's balance. It's 70-30, 60-40, 90-10 some days. And then they turned to me and said, what happens if you love what you do? Because people, I find, have this, I guess, projection in their head where it's like work-life balance, because work is hard hustle, go, 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 takes everything out of you. Then life balance is where it's like family time, downtime, reset time. Mm-hmm. But if you love what you do you need balance? And like when they asked me that, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, it really screwed me up, because I'm like getting into like, you know, like with the consulting stuff, like I'm loving doing that. And I'm like, I'll work on that till midnight. And I'm like, but I don't have work-life balance. I go, but my life is now doing a passion, like my podcast. I love doing the podcast. I love doing the personal branding stuff. I'm like, well, then it's not work life. It's just kind of passion life. And isn't life about like, it got me into like a dirty wormhole. Like it got me like really thinking that. And I get in some like weird like wormholes. Last night I asked my wife if we can get a cheetah. I just found out cheetahs have actually never killed a human on record. So those are the wormholes I get into. So when this guy asked me that, like, just imagine the wormhole I really got into, right? Like it was a stoic wormhole. So like, if you love what you do you believe there needs to be a work-life balance? Everyone aims for it, like you said, but if you have that passion behind you, like, do you need to even worry about work-life balance?
No, I don't think so. I think, like you said, if you're loving it and it's a passion of yours, then why do you need to do that? I think we all get caught up in that, 9 to 5 or whatever it is that we got to work to make things come together. And, the pressures of the world make that a little harder every single day too. But if you're able to take that time and focus on it and you see that growth in whatever it is that you're doing, that's such a reward in itself too, right?
It's like your own baby.
Your own baby. Exactly. Yeah.
And then with other business owners, I know you have conversations like me and you have all the time. Mm-hmm. What do you find falls off the wagon first for business owners, especially new ones, when they lose that work-life balance? Like, is it relationships? Is it kids? Is it health? Is it like, what do you find is the trending thing to fall? I find is health. I find guys just fall apart and they just don't do anything healthy or anything like that. But
yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of that, right? You want to take care of yourself and you start doing things for a couple of days as a New Year's resolution or whatever, and then you're back at it. I don't got time to do that or whatever. You've been doing well for yourself doing that stuff, which has been great. Kudos to you. But I think, we kind of throw our own health aside. We do. I'm guilty of it. You kind of take advantage of, having your wonderful spouse there to take care and manage those things where you're like, I'm working, sorry, it's all on you tonight. And you feel bad about that stuff. But that's the difference between having somebody that supports you and somebody that doesn't too, right? Yeah. So I think our health personally falls off is one of the first things.
That's what I find is the first thing that falls off.
Physically, mentally, whatever, because again, you go down those rabbit holes.
Mentally.
Right?
Boom. Like, this guy just killed it. Like, I was just thinking health, like physical, but mental health. Like, I didn't even like...
It's such a mind fuck every single day. Like you said to me on the phone, you're in your head while you're at dinner worrying about, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? What flow of money's coming in? Where are these customers getting this material from or whatever? You're constantly thinking about that stuff, right? And that's a mental drain on you as well. So having those people to help you out too makes a big difference. Take some of that load.
I like that mental health aspect, because I always thought health as a whole, but some guys might still be head down, like going to the gym or doing a run or whatever they do. Mm-hmm. But like mentally, they're just like torn apart. And like, I feel like it was both for me. Like me personally, I feel like both just kind of fell off a cliff, and like finding the pieces to pick them up was like a long road.
Sure.
A long road, but like
it can be just to find that beginning, right? Like where do you start?
Right? Yeah.
And that's a battle for me all the time. How do I get to this point where I want to be? What step do I need to take? And then you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Whatever, you do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Just got to start.
You're also caught up in the grind, right? Like you're going every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week mentally. Like you tend to burn out.
It is, yeah. Yeah, you definitely have that happen for sure. And then unfortunately, family suffers and all that kind of stuff too, right? Because when you're a grumpy asshole, nobody wants to be around you. But you got a lot on your brain.
So how about this? How about burnout is not a badge of honor?
Mm-hmm.
Like that one?
That's a good one too.
Right? Yeah, I heard that the other day. I was like, burnout is not a badge of honor. And it's amazing how many us business owners, like, think it is a badge of honor, right? Like it's like what same thing as when you're working a blue collar job, you cut your finger, put electrical tape. I don't need no band-aid. I don't need no band-aid. Like it's like a badge of honor, an injury, right? Like it's stupid, but it is, right? And I don't know why business owners have this like shut up and work harder mentality, sweep it under the rug, which I think there's a time and place for it.
Sure, absolutely.
But like, do you not agree that like there's so many guys that think that's what successful is? Like the busier I am, the more successful I am, and they burn out. And it's kind of, oh, I had to, I've been going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm like, what do you want? Like a badge? Literally a badge.
That's what we feel like we have to do though too, especially in startup phases. You gotta put the pedal to the metal. You can't stop until it works. But you forget that sometimes is, hey, things are working. I can step back and actually enjoy it a little bit too, right? So
now I find myself very like, I get the burnout thing. I've been in that phase. I've been through that stage. When I put my head into something, it's very like, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like all burners on kind of guy. Like, are you the same way? Or is it one of those, like, are you more strategic kind of saying, okay, these are the 5 steps I need to get to where I want to be? I'm like head down just like grabbing stuff off shelves. And I'm like, I'm just going to make a meal of whatever lands in the cart kind of guy.
Yeah.
As I get older, I'm starting to be a little more strategic, but I still know my personality. Like, how do you find yourself deal with all that?
I'm the same way. I think, it's stubbornness, hard-headedness. You're like a bull in a china shop. You just got to go, right? You have a goal in your mind. You're going to get to it no matter what's in your way. You're going to trudge right through and it's going to happen, right? Should we be more strategic? Absolutely, because maybe we would reduce those mistakes, but you learn from those and become better too, right? So,
yeah, I feel like my head down and go, like all burners on, it has streamlined me along the way. So I feel like I did get further along in the years I've been in business than I would have if I strategically paced myself.
Sure.
Now, my mistakes were bigger, which might have set me back more. But I feel like when I'm moving forward faster. But do you say it's worth it doing like the way, same, you said you're the same way. So do you think it's worth it doing that way where it's like you get bigger steps forward, but when you get setbacks, they're bigger? Or do you just have smaller, consistent steps forward with smaller steps back?
With scheduling or like
just everything in life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to start a business and like, I'm the type of guy where it's like, sell the business or we're buying a new truck. Like, there's no in between. Like,
when I started, it was, I was working for another company in town. So I really just wanted to go, right? We were in the middle of getting married, having a baby. There was a lot of stuff going on that year. My wife said to me like, hey, dum, slow it down a little bit. Let's work with your other company for a year. Start doing things slowly, right? So I'm thankful she did that, because if it was up to me, I would have just gone after it. And maybe that would have been the right way, but I'm thankful that I listened to her too, because it allowed me to step back and, look at what I was doing and how I was doing it. I still had way more things that I could have prepared for, but at the end of the day, I'm going with the knowledge that I have, the skill set that I have, and trudging forward, right?
But I feel a lot of that knowledge is like an unteachable lesson. Like I can drill into somebody as many times as I want about shiny object syndromes and like the like imposter syndrome and all the buzz phrases and words and stuff. But like, unless someone goes through it, like you can't teach them. No. Like you can't. Like you got to. There's certain things in business that thickens your skin that like you just have to go through it, because I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Well, it humbles you too, right? Like you're not as good as you thought. Slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
Figure it out and let's do it properly. I tell that to the guys when they're on job sites too, is, it's okay for you to make mistakes. I don't care that something got broken or we got to go back and fix things or whatever. It keeps you reminded that you're human.
Yes.
And what you do with that lesson, that's going to bring you out on top.
100%. Yeah. Right? And I think being organized and documenting those mistakes, learning from them, like even in life, like I journal, right? So like I look back at my journal all the time, like that was the worst part of my life. Like I wish I'll take that all day. Like, you know what I mean? But like being organized, like I think that allows you to like have a platform and have stepping stones to look back at. Sure. Right? Like it's like, imagine steps to like the top of a temple or something like that. Like every step along the way, there's a new pebble or stone that you had to step over.
Right.
And by being able to turn around and like look back at that, it's like those are all accumulated, right? Like imagine you picked all those up. How big your bag would be of like knowledge receipts and everything like that.
I think we forget to look at that too a lot of times, is how far we've actually come, right? You're like, shit, I got so much more to do, or so much, higher to get. With all these obstacles in my way, how am I going to do it? Well, how'd you get to where you are now? Same thing.
And I think that's the problem with like personal growth and like development, is that as you develop, if you're eager to get better and you're actually like driven to go that way, you start being around other people. Mm-hmm. And then those people drive you to be better, because you're like, well, like, I'm average here. I'm not like excelling. And I talked about that in an episode where it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, with my chest popped out. I went to like a meetup and I was like, whoa, like, hold on. Like, no one even knows my name in this room, right? Like, these guys are like, I did that. Like, I bounced off what I did all week, and they're like, my 27 staff did that by Monday morning at 10 a.m. I'm like, all right, like, can't put you in check, right?
Just shoot that ego down.
It honestly made me really rigid, right? Like, it was kind of like, that was a big factor for me, like, with developing myself, was like, I am human, but like, there's so much more to do. I gotta look back at what I did.
Right.
Like, it's so hard to like look at your accomplishments, because like, as you become more and more successful, you start to see things that were a high achieving goal as average. So like, when you succeed that, you look back and saying, well, that's not really something to be proud of, because it's average. So it's almost like your mindset raises, your standard changes, and it's like, it's almost something that you can't be proud of. Like, you're not proud of what you did before, because it's just something you should have done or can do, or an average thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard, because like, your bars get raised. So like, technically you look back, it's kind of like, well, that was easy. Like, I did that, right? Like my book, it's like, well, now I'm struggling to like publish my book with time, like actually do the final proofread and everything.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, I can't sit down and write my book. I can't sit down. I'm like, one weekend I was like, 30,000 words. I'm like, I'm done. Like, that's it, bro. I'm done. And now looking back at it, like, I hate to downplay it. I'm proud of someone if they write a book.
Sure.
But it's one of those, like, I did in the weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like a competition thing or anything. I'm like, but why are you just setting that standard of writing a book as the top line? You know what I mean? You wrote a book. Now what are you going to do with it?
Now what?
Now you're going to publish it? Yeah. Are you going to become bestseller? Yeah. Are you going to hand it out to local bookstores and sell a bunch of them? Are you going to hand them out to friends and impact their lives? Like, that's now like, it's the lower level. Mm-hmm. So like you said, like, looking back at those accomplishments, I find for myself, it's hard, because I don't look at them as accomplishments anymore. I look at them as just things I had to step over to get to where I want to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, like, we need to remind ourselves to take those moments and look at those small victories, for sure. It's hard to do that, though, sometimes, like you said.
Well, it's hard to distinguish what a victory is. Mm-hmm. Like, I know the small things in life. Like, sure, you made it home for dinner, but I'm like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, I should be home for dinner. Like, it's become like a non-negotiable. I'm like,
yeah, but look at that. Now it's non-negotiable. You're there.
I know. And it's like, it's not an accomplishment anymore. It's just something you do. It's like, breathe. Right? Oh, yeah. I was breathing all day today. It's like, well, you kind of have to. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like that. So, so with all that, like, hold on. I got to look at my notes. I'm horrible at this. So have you found, like, now being able to look back, like, acknowledging you got to look back at your goals and patting yourself on the back and everything, has it changed your mentality towards other stuff, like going forward into a goal? Like, do you say, okay, when I hit this, I'm going to turn around and pat myself on the back, rather than before it was like go it's like, oh shoot, look at all this is I covered. Now it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get to this point, then I'm gonna embrace it. Like, I want to hire 2 new guys, put a new truck on the road. When you get to that point, you're like, you know what, Eric, I'm proud of myself.
I don't take that time. It's like, what's next?
Yeah,
what's next? What are we gonna do?
So it's change your mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Totally, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, I do a little bit of business coaching and stuff like that, and they constantly, you know, ask you to provide them with wins, right? Yeah. So it gives you an opportunity to reflect on that. I think taking a chance to do that yourself is probably a good thing, but you forget to, because you want to go to the next level, and how do you get there, right? So you're always looking at that.
Yeah. And if you can give anyone any advice on when they should do that, do you think there's benchmarks when you should do that, or should you just make it a conscious decision to, like, when you're stressed out? I'm stressed out, you know what, I need to sit down, think about what I've done, because that's what I do. Like, when I feel like I'm at like rock bottom, everything's falling apart,
where's that reminder?
And I'm like, I go back to my journal and I'm like, that was my worst problem 6 months ago. I'm like, I'll take it all day, right? Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's my benchmark personally, and I don't know if I've never actually asked anyone if they have a benchmark when they go back and reflect on, it's like, oh, what did I do this year, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever really stopped to look at it. Last year, I had a lot of goals and everything set out on a whiteboard right in front of my computer. So, you sit there and look at it, you're like, fuck, how am I going to get here? How am I going to get there? And then at the end of the year, you look at it, you're like, holy shit. I did 3/4 of this list without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's a solid reminder for me every day, is looking at that and seeing, where we were to where we are. Having something like that as a continual reminder, as a visual in front of you, is a good way to do that, I think. Or, if the hard time comes, look at your journal, whatever. Everybody's going to have their way. But yeah, if you can slow down just to remind yourself a little bit of where you've come from, then I think that's going to keep you going and give you that momentum to go to the next level.
Do you feel as you progress and you grow your business, and I know we're talking a lot about business, but even like personal goals, do you think the small wins are still just like, is it better to reflect every other day, every week, every month and say, hey, this is what I did this month, good for me? Or as you grow and your goals become bigger, should you celebrate just the bigger ones and neglect the small ones at a certain point? Or is it like, because like I said, like making it home for dinner every day with your family, right? To me, that was a goal when I first started my business, because like I literally pulled all-nighters.
Right.
Build out like an SOP for something stupid new that I knew nothing about. And I'm like, I had to figure this out. Mm-hmm. So making it home for dinner was like a huge goal for me. Now it's just like a non-negotiable. So like at our level, should we turn around and say, like I was still proud that I'm making it home for dinner kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I think focusing on those little things makes a big impact, right? It's all of those little things that get you up here instead of just that one big thing. That one big thing is great to look at too, but look at all you've done.
But when you get to that big thing, do you, are you concentrating on that, or do you just like surpass it without even knowing it?
Sometimes you surpass it without even knowing it. Like, oh shit!
You're talking about the whiteboard, right? You gotta look up. It's like, oh yeah, look at that! I forgot I was gonna do that. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, those little things are just as important as that one big thing for sure. I think you need to stack up those small wins too. It's important.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to resonate on stacking up those big wins or those small wins, because they do stack up, man. Yeah. Like honestly, like after I looked at, me, 2026, I'm like all burners on. Like I went all in, everything I want to do, I'm going to do this year.
Yeah.
And I did stack those small wins for the first time. I was like, wow, like it's crazy what I've done in 5-6 years. And I'm like, I didn't even expect to do this. Like it's crazy that, you built almost like, I feel like with the business, you almost build out like a whole ecosystem. You know what I mean? That's where I feel like I'm at. Like, I don't know how you feel, but it's like, you're providing for other people. They're creating jobs. You built relationships with suppliers. Like, it's a world in itself. Like, if you're really dialed into your business, you can almost survive just within your business, I guess, circle.
Yeah.
Like, it's
creating it to a point where it's better for whoever's involved.
Yeah.
It's going to grow. You've done it. You've brought certain people in from your first business to help you with your second, third, fourth fucking businesses. Let's go here.
This podcast is ruining a third business idea, but podcast studio coming soon.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
we can build that, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm off track. Just thinking about
we're talking about
all these accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's important to be able to do that too, and it gives you a bigger picture view. Like, your guys, you're always going to want to take care of. You're out there busting your ass, but you're also doing that for them, to provide for their families. You got to take care of your suppliers so they can take care of you, that kind of thing too, right? And
take care of your podcast host. Like,
yeah.
Here, swag came in. If you're on my podcast, I want swag, I want something. Like, I need a gift.
Sorry to set that precedent.
I know, you just set the standard down. You walked in and you go, here's a hat. I'm like, this isn't a bad idea. We're going to do this, right? No, but it's cool because, like, I feel like this episode we're getting a personal feel of it. And, like, the one I did before with Cash was, like, real deep and personal. But this one is, like, business-oriented with someone at the same scale. It's not like I'm chopping it up with someone that's, $100 million business, but I'm also not chopping it up with someone that's just starting a business. Like, I feel like you and I have both grown pretty much at pace with each other, where it's kind of like we're always facing the same problems. We're always like overcoming the same things. It's always like,
every phone call is, oh fuck, man, this happened or that happened, but also this happened, which was fucking great.
Yeah, like I feel like it's
it's relatable for sure. And I think we've been buddies for what now, 2 or 3 years, right? 4. Well, yeah, 4. Fuck, Jesus Christ.
No.
you see that, and you grow as friends, you grow as, contractors and business owners, which is awesome. But I forgot where I was going with that.
We were developing together.
Watching that happen, is fantastic to see for a buddy, for, a fellow local business owner too, right? And then, we go through those growing pains too, where you lose a guy or, a contract goes bad, right? Like now we know, okay, we're not operating under those standards. We're going to here, and this is what it's going to be going forward, right? So we make those
collaborate
changes
together on it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Bounce ideas like, hey man, like, this happened to me. I'm like, literally, that happened to me last month.
Right.
Like, literally last month. So let's figure this out. This is what I did. Or I come to you and you're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, like you had that big team meeting a few months ago and you're like, I'm just going to lay it all on the table. I'm like, why not? That's not a bad idea. I might do the same thing, right?
But it gives them a sense of accountability too when you're able to do that. Guys, we need to be doing this, set that KPI or KPA for them and let them roll with it too, right?
Yeah, and I find, what was the quote? It was like, as the owner, it's not your fault, but it's always your problem.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
it starts and stops with you at the end of the day too. Right? Yeah. So you got to look at that too. And I got that lesson from a previous owner as well. He would say that all the time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now you're in the trenches and you're facing that. It does. It starts and stops with you. Right.
Yeah, it always snowballs to you. Like, I have support staff and everything that deal with 99% of the problem, but now I just deal with one bigger problem than I do 10 little ones or issues. I'm just
those problems grow too, don't they? As time passes.
But do you find yourself becoming better at decision making? Because I find like I'm very like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, and I've really been like relating to this a lot where it's like a lot of input and not a lot of output. Like I have a lot coming into me in a regular day. Like before I'd be on the tools and be like, head down. Okay, I got to get to this point and then today's a good day. Now it's like I'm blindfolded going through my day. I don't even know what's going to come at me.
Right. And
I've never realized how important the executive calls I make are for the business. And it comes almost as second nature now where my thought process is different. It's like, like our core values. What's the reputation going to be? What's the customer service going to be like? What's the revenue going to be affected? And like, it's like okay, this is the way we're going to go. And amazing how quick I can make a decision versus when before I was like, oh my God, like this could be a $500 problem. And now I'm like, okay, now it's only a $500 problem. Let's go.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean? Like, so how do you find your decision making over the course of 5 years being in business?
4 years? 4 years. No, I mean, it comes with time, right? Like before you were leading, I mean, you still lead with your heart, right? But you're more logical thinking. Like you said, you break it all down, check all those boxes, what impact is it going to have on the guys, on the people. And communication is the biggest thing with the customers or the contractors and stuff like that too, to make sure you're clear on everything that you're doing.
How about life?
Right? With life?
I find myself a lot not snappier, just very black and white. Like if I have a conversation with someone, it's like, I'll walk in and if someone turns to me and say, you don't ask how my day is, I'm like, I don't care how your day is because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want you wasting my time. It sounds rude, but it's kind of like, this is my time. Like if I'm going to ask you a question, I generally want to, if you're looking at it from my perspective, it's like, if I ask you a question, I want to care. Sure. I want to know the answer. I want to listen to you.
Yeah.
And I want to give you the respected like feedback that you deserve. So I'm not going to ask you a question for no reason.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm just being fake to you and I'm wasting your time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at it as like, well, you're just being rude. And I'm like, actually, you're the one being rude by just dilly-dallying around a stupid question you don't care about. Like, you know what I mean? And some people are like, well, I generally care. I'm like, then ask the question. But like, for me, it's like in life, like everything's
get to the point, right?
Get to the point, quick decisions. Like even at home, it's like, do you want to do this? And I'll talk to my wife and she's like, hey, we're going to do this. I'm like, sure. And everyone's like, do you just say yes? I'm like, because it doesn't immediately affect me. And she's thought it through. She has a plan. I'm good with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have 2 or 3 things I got to check off. If we're good, like, am I available? Can we afford it? And how long is it going to take? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what else is going to what else is going to affect? Like, kind of thing. If none of those 3 things matter, I'm like, sure, you want to make plans? Let's go make a plan, right? Or my kids will ask me something. I'm like, do this. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
Just figure it out. Like, just do it. hope for the best. You had two options.
You want them to learn the lessons too, right? Whether it's the hard way or the easy way. But yeah, I think, my wife's really good at that stuff, scheduling, making sure we're on things. And I rely on her a lot for that home stuff because you feel overwhelmed with the business or whatever. But same thing, how much it's going to cost, what's it going to affect, and can I be there, right? It's, it's an easy yes for me if you've got it all done.
Yeah, exactly, right? Kind of figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to waste time beating around the bush with a lot of things, especially when you got a job to do or places to go, people to see, right?
Yeah.
Ask those questions, make it important and meaningful conversation.
Yeah, and that's too. Where I'm at. Right? When I have a conversation, I want it to impact people, right? Like with like Tarun, our videographer. Like when we go for a drive, dude, like me and him have some great conversations. Yeah, right? Like we've created like words of, I think they're called words of wisdom. Yeah, where he's over there nodding. He's like, yeah, words of wisdom. I don't know what it's called. It is Spitfire. That's all I do. Okay, so the point of the podcast, though, is getting to know people I want to have on the podcast. It's going to be conversations, self-development, rants. We're also going to talk about forgetting the noise, because I think that's a huge thing for so many people out there with development, is forgetting all the nonsense out there and the stuff we get told. Like, there's so much stuff out there that we get told, and I feel like we talked about earlier, like, there's so many unteachable lessons. Do it your way. Do it what you think is best, because I think a hard lesson learned, you're going to go a lot further than listening to someone else's advice that doesn't, I guess, account with you.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there's certain times where you need to take advice from other people. And like I always say, and I think I've said on every podcast, you want to know what's on top of the mountain, ask someone on the way down.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. But they need to align with you. But I think there's so much noise out there with so many other people that aren't aligning with you that, like, it distracts people. It pulls people off target, puts them in the wrong directions and everything. So, like, what do you find is making a lot of noise right now? Like, either it could be personal, it could be your sector, your line of work, it could be physical health, like anything that bugs you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, finding that time, for myself a little bit, for that personal development. You've done a great job going to the gym, doing that thing, working on yourself. You make a goal to do it and you hit that snooze button and that's it, right? So finding those moments to do that and take care of yourself is kind of one of those things that kind of eats away at you a little bit. I do some journaling and take some time and do some reading and all that stuff for myself too. But physically, you kind of let yourself go when you're focusing on business, right? So that's, one thing that definitely is always in my head. And then starting the business too, everybody's like, don't do it, man. This and this is going to happen. I had to deal with this. I had to deal with that. That's cool. Go figure it out for yourself. How else you going to learn? Right? Yeah. I think it comes down to that strategical talk that we were talking about too. You can be strategic, or you can just fucking wing it. Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. Because the noise, like, I find starting business with noise, like, there's no one in the middle. No one kind of just saying, sure. Like, it's either they're telling you don't do it or send it.
Do it.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's a big thing with noise is, like, I feel bad for almost people that want to start a business because they're at the point where it's like, do I do it? Do I not? And I find until you grow that thick skin with those unteachable lessons, you're influenced easily. And I hate seeing people not take the gamble because they don't think they can.
Yeah.
Right. And listening to the noise of either spectrum, it's like, that's just their personal opinion and personal perspective. They're not looking at you as a whole. They're looking at their experience. Personal experience and telling you what's best for you based on the way they made it work.
Yeah.
Now you could have someone like us who's head down, bull in the china shop, go, saying, yeah, start a business. That works for someone like us. But if you have someone that's strategic and everything, they're going to jump into that and say, whoa, this is not what they explained, because like naturally that's who we are. We're good with dealing like on the fly, fast moving and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But that person's not. They need to think things through. So sure, starting a business might be the best move for them, but it's not listening to the noise we're making to start a business. So, like, a lot of people need to find what aligns with them and listen to that noise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, listen to that. Listen to yourself, man. Follow those goals. Thankfully, I had a good support system in the sense of other electricians in town too, which made it a lot, more reassuring for me to do that. At the end of the day, we have a ticket. We have a trade under our belts. We're employable anywhere we go. take the risk. If you're going to do it. Figure it out. Somebody's always going to have something to say to you about it, whether it's buying a new pair of shoes or fucking buying a new truck. There's always going to be negative things to say about it. But what do you want?
Wow. I think you just ended the podcast. That was like a monologue. That was great. That was good content. Oh my God. I love that. All right. So we have to get the Noise podcast today. We had Eric. You want to give any socials, followings, anything you're up to next? Like,
yeah, you can give us a follow on Instagram at EJR Electric. We're present here in the Orangeville area. Electrical, fire protection. We want to take care of you, take care of your business. People's safety, that comes at our number one concern. We're here. We want to help. We want to grow. Our community is close, as you know, right? Locals, keep it local. Let's help each other out.
And then there's a little surprise. I want to have reoccurring guests on. Mm-hmm. So give us your 6, 1 year, and 3 year goal. Because when you come back on the podcast, we're going to hold you to it. We're literally going to say, like, bro, where are you at?
So what are we, 6, 1, and 3?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, man.
I literally just made that up right now. But I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. So,
yeah, I think
6 months.
6 months. Let's look at it. I would like to have another journeyman on staff. So right now we've got a journeyman, an apprentice, and a fire alarm technician, plus myself. I want to have another journeyman on staff to help that fire alarm technician attain his apprenticeship, which will then lead us to having 4 electrical, 4 electricians on staff, able to help serve our crew or our customers. I think 1 year, I'd like to be settled in my shop fully. We're not in our office just yet. We've got a lot of work to do in there.
Been there like 6 months.
Yeah, it took forever. Anyways, we'd like to be in that shop, fully operational. Obviously with that 6 month hire comes another truck on the go. Maybe even toying with the ideas, and this is something that I've always wanted to do, is to build our own unit. 10 unit building with one for myself and the other units available for the other people to rent. I'd put that in our 3 year mark for sure.
Sweet.
The next 3 years. So that'll bring us to 7 years. So goal 7 years to 10 years was to be able to do that. So.
And anything else you want to just leave behind? You want to leave on the table? I can call you out on next time.
Oh shit! Let's go with the fitness goal. Let's be hitting the gym and taking care of ourselves a little bit better than we are this year for sure.
Okay, so when you're back, we're gonna have one more employee. We're gonna have the shop set up.
Yep.
We're gonna have a building being built, and we're gonna have an ab check.
Cool.
Sweet. Done. All right. Forget the Noise podcast. This one has been fun. Honestly, it was cool having someone close to me on the podcast as our first kind of business one, because we've aligned to business. We've grown together. We've scaled together. We've gone through problems together. We work together. So I appreciate you being on, Eric.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's been an awesome episode. I've had a great chat. Got all the answers I wanted, and now we have something to hold them accountable for. So forget the Noise podcast. Stay tuned for next week.